Part 5 of making parts by hand. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to make the vertical lines and shapes to finish off that fender on the Montana. Start bending with a pair of vice grips. Put them fairly tight and start a little at a time. This is my first time over it. All the way down, 50% overlap. It's the most accurate way to bend a curve I've found over any other tool. By hand, it's very precise when you're finished. It usually takes me about 3 times to gradually get it over to be 90 degrees. You don't want to stretch it more than you have to. You got to be gentle about it. We're then going to straighten the edge all the way down using a universal dolly. And we're going to use a flat-faced hammer, not a round one because we don't want to stretch it. Just gradually as we go along. As we ride this along, we'll get 90 degrees or whatever angle we want by tilting the block. Plus, as we hammer, we're going to take the little pry marks out that came from the vice grips. Just do a little section at a time, and you'll see. Ride that curve, that way our outer edge stays nice, but we got this nicely shaped to whatever angle we want. This is where we get a nice, even, non-kinked curve. But if you can see, we got a little roll along the edge here. We want that nice and flat. Now we're going to get a toe dolly, and we're going to use this corner piece here, and we're going to move it along. Little at a time as we hammer that roll out on the other side. We are going to use a flat-faced dinging hammer to do this. Now we've got our edge cleaned up. To do this, with the toe dolly behind it, we choke up on the hammer and we do small taps, pushing that roll towards the edge. Because of that hammering, the edge is rolled outward again, so now we're going to hammer it back square like we did the first time. Now we're going to bend the other side over, same way, using a pair of Irwin vice grips, they're the best. And it'll go to a different angle, which I'll show you later. We bent this side the same as the other, but now this one's going to have a 50-degree angle. So before we go there, we got to straighten out this lip. Now we straighten this out just like the other side. And this side too. We hammered it just like the other side. Now we got to do some extra stuff. Now we're going to bend this tab up where it has to meet the cowl. So we position this bracket. So this line here has to have a 50-degree angle. So I made a template so that I can go along and put it in there and make sure I got the whole length right. This wedge dolly is pretty close. Now the sample fits all the way. We also can hammer it this way along the edge and peen it over. Then we get the large vice grips and we're going to bend all the big tabs over first. Then we're going to use the dinging hammer right on top of the pliers and we're going to straighten out that lip as we go. Then we're going to take the mini vice grips and bend the other ones the same way. As you can see here, because of the curve, they want to overlap. You don't want them overlapping, so you're going to get a die cutter and follow the large tabs and snip off this little one so when you do bend it over, it doesn't interfere with these tabs. Then later on, we're going to weld them up. So we have to curve it this way, and then we have to make this here outward so it's got matches the wheel, and then it's got an indent over here. Now we're going to drill the holes. Now we need a curve in the panel here. Actually, most of the curve is through this area. It's got to be rounded here and here, and we're going to use a semi-round faced hammer. What that will do, it will stretch as I'm hammering here. It's going to stretch and the panel's going to curve on its own. A small rubber mallet can help as well. Loading an end while you hammer can also help stretch it. The edges will roll a bit, so you're going to have to come back in and hammer them to the shape. The lips will also need to be hammered back with a flat-faced hammer as well. Don't use a round one, that'll stretch it the opposite direction. Now we want to get the semi-round faced hammer and along the center of that line, give it a slight definition. A door skin hammer will also help. Then you're going to level out this edge with a flat-faced dinging hammer. Now that edge is a little work hardened, even without the bars, it should do what we want, curve in here. And we're going to come in with this round-faced hammer again, and we're going to come in and chase that till it fades out all the way along, and then we'll roll it over and sort of smooth it out from the back too. There it is done. The next thing will be to install it on the car. Next will be tips and tricks on how to install the rocker panels and the fenders.